Okay, everyone. I'd like to introduce you now to two gentlemen who took on an epic adventure earlier this year to raise money for a number of good causes, including the ITP Support Association. I'd like to introduce you to Richard Hoggart and Richard Price. I interviewed Richard's daughter earlier today, and she had Richard Price's daughter earlier today, and she had some fantastic things to say about her dad. She's very, very proud of you both. So, just got a few questions to ask you how your adventure in climbing Kilimanjaro went. Um, Basically, first of all, what gave you the idea of climbing one of the tallest mountains in the world, the tallest mountain in Africa? So,
I think it's something we probably both wanted to do. And as we get into a certain age in life, it's like try and tick off some of these challenges while we still can. And so one day, last November, I think I texted Richard and said, "Do you fancy coming along?" And I think Rich took about half an hour to answer. And we quickly got booked and organised.
And that was it, done. Yeah.
really, as easy as that?
Yeah, I'd been
Yeah,
secretly like doing about 6 weeks worth of training beforehand, just thinking in my head, could I get ready for it?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
knew the
yeah.
day, I knew 18th of January was a day that there was a trip available. So I'd been like secretly thinking, could I get ready? Obviously, Rich is much fitter than me. So I thought I'd just try and get to a level where I felt we could do it.
Okay, like bearing in mind, what a monumental task it is, climbing Kilimanjaro. Have either of you ever done anything similar to this before in the past?
Certainly not on that scale. And we do quite a bit of walking, and we've done like the Yorkshire Three Peaks. We've done that
Yes,
a couple of
yes.
times now. I climbed Ben Nevis a few months before last autumn, but nothing on this scale. No, no, this is our
Right.
biggest challenge by far.
Climbing Ben Nevis must be just like going up a little hill somewhere, mustn't
Pretty
it?
much. Not at the
Yeah,
time,
not at the
but
time.
in retrospect, yeah, yeah.
Right. I mentioned at the start, you raise money for a number of charities aside from the ITP Support Association, and thank you very much for the money you raised for that. Who are the other three charities who benefited from your hike up that very small mountain?
So one of them was for celiac UK, because Layla, who you did the interview with,
Yeah.
who was diagnosed as ITP, as part of the process of trying to diagnose the ITP, she was also diagnosed with celiac disease. And that's been quite a life-changing thing for Layla and for us really as a family. And there really seemed to be not that much information initially out there. So we did a lot of research ourselves into the charity. So it does mean a lot to us, and anything we could do to help that and help people that have just been diagnosed, and it was a bit of a no-brainer really.
Yeah, so that's ITP and celiac, and the other two?
So they were SMA Support Association. So my nephew's diagnosed with SMA type 1. Again, similar support association where they help families and loved ones with SMA get the right support. And the fourth charity was the Hinge, which is a local charity to Bridlington. So they help young people who are typically sometimes homeless or surfer surfing. They have a food bank. They have a big network of support for disadvantaged families locally. So they're quite a local charity for us. We split equally across all four.
Excellent, excellent. And just remind everyone, how much did you raise in total?
£8,107.
Well done. Well done. That's brilliant.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
brilliant. Right. Planning for such an endeavor must have been a huge task. I know you touched on when you started training a bit early, but when did you actually start? And I'm assuming there was more people helping you behind the scenes. I've met Marie earlier, and I know Marie was very vociferous in contacting us and all that, with all the information she was sharing. So anyone else?
So my wife let me go to the gym 5 days a week to relentlessly get fitter. So obviously support from her and family, work colleagues who have been really supportive at sharing our Just Giving page, our posters to raise that profile. We've had really fantastic support from both work colleagues, professional colleagues, and others who really wanted to like promote it. I think we started out aiming for what we thought was quite a reasonable amount. It just snowballed so quickly.
Superb. And I believe Marie's probably just out of Cambridgeshire, is she?
She is.
I thought so. Yeah,
She's just checking what we're saying.
Bearing in mind that the trip must have been a hell of a time in the planning stage. How long did you have to allow for the actual trip itself? The flight out there, the preparations on site, the acclimatization. One would assume because of the altitude. Did that take long?
So the overall trip was 10 nights. That's from start to finish. To be fair, it was quite quick, really. Once we landed in Africa, we had the first night in the hotel, and then the next day we were up and off.
Wow.
Already you're up to say 2,000 meters or so, which is obviously nearly twice as high as anything in the UK, and that's almost your starting point. And the acclimatization just happens en route, really. So you take a few days, 4 days to get to the top. And that's just so you can take your time and your body can get used to the altitude, really.
Yeah.
But just a fantastic. It's a bit of a blur, to be fair, and bits are still just coming back now. But absolutely fantastic.
And you don't walk like directly up the mountain, so you end up walking. So we started if you look at let's say the mountain, the shoulders of the mountain. You start on the left-hand side, and you walk up towards it. Then you dance around it. Then you go a little bit higher one day to to acclimatise for lunch. Then you end up coming back down in the afternoon and sleeping somewhere else. But you end up dancing around 4,500 meters for a few days just to get to the point where you can actually go up the mountain. You can't go straight up it. You have to walk around it and find the right path.
Because I believe it is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world.
It is.
Yeah. Superb. So Africa and the Mount Kilimanjaro region of Tanzania, and that is a really beautiful part of the continent. Did you have any opportunity to take in any of the other sights and sounds and smells and that around the area? Any animal life and
not really. To be fair, it was quite whistle stop in that sense. But on the first and the last day, certainly when we were in Tanzania at the hotel, so we did see some of the local life around there, really, if you like. And it's a very poor country, and it's quite shocking, really. Obviously, you see it on the TV all the time, but when you're face to face with it,
yes, I know.
It's a bit of an eye opener, really.
I've been to parts of Africa. Yeah, it's
awful. But then just absolutely lovely people, and and you see the schools, and the schools are immaculate, and you see the kids walking to school during the day, and they absolutely turned out better than most kids in this country, to be fair.
There's quite a bit of wildlife in the rainforest as well at the bottom. So on the first set off, there's lots of monkeys, and the first camp there was a monkey fight at about 2 a.m. with such screaming that
you make some noise, don't they?
So it was at that point where you realise that actually you can hold your bladder a little bit longer. These monkeys sounded fierce in the middle of the night, and we'd seen a few of them on the way up. You could see them in the rainforest as you're walking.
But
they got quite excited in the middle of the night.
Brilliant. So, you've said the whole trip was 10 days. What once you had the first night in the hotel, how long did it actually take to get to the top and then get back down again?
It was 6 nights on the mountain.
Yeah,
6 nights, right?
In a tent, so a 2-man tent, so it's about as big as this space that we're now. And we have to take everything with us. So you don't stay at the same camp twice. So everything that we sleep on, that we need to carry, we have to carry with us, and that includes mess tents, the cooks, the food, the toilets. Everything comes up the mountain, and everything comes back down with us. So I think water the guys got on off the streams, off the mountain, and purified it for us. So we didn't carry water. So we carried our own water for the day, but that was sort of like sourced at each different stage. But so no, it was 6 nights in a tent on a very rocky floor.
Very rocky floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and again, and the temperature just kept dropping the higher we got. You know, on our tent in the morning, we'd wake up with it frozen on the inside, or drip. If it was a wet day, dripping on the inside. We occasionally have a couple of leaks, but
Jesus. So when you actually got to the summit, I bet you was really elated when you're like, you know, did you cheer and?
Yeah, I think so. Probably, as we got to the crater rim, that was probably more joyous time. So you get to the edge of the crater, then you have to walk around about another hour and a bit to the peak. So the crater rim was probably a more joyous point of we've done it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just went so steep the bit before that.
Yeah.
To the rim. Oh, we've done it. We haven't. We've still got another hour to go. But so that was probably more the elation point. And then at the actual sign at the peak, it got really busy and a little bit chaotic. Everyone's trying to get the famous picture with the sign behind you.
Yeah.
So that was just we ended up being milling around a little bit there. And at that point we're 5,895 meters. It was hard to breathe.
Yeah.
Your head starts to get a little bit sore with like headache, and you're thinking we probably need to be getting down soon because it's pretty severe on the altitude.
Get a bit tough. Yeah. I've seen some of the wonderful pictures of the trip, and I will put some of the pictures in this video as we're talking. Can you give us, you know, what your key or main highlights are of the trip, other than sharing a 2-man tent and parting everything up and back down again? But yeah. So
I think, well, there's so many really, to be fair. You know, seeing a different part of the world was fantastic. But there was a few nights for me where we were very high up, say maybe 4,500 meters, and the skies cleared, and you could see right to the very bottom, and you could see into Tanzania, and just the little lights at the bottom, and it was so far away, and all we were was just surrounded by tents, and behind us was the snow-capped mountain. It's just things like that stick in your mind, really, and you know, you actually, it sinks in where you are and what you actually achieving.
But we also had like this a famous wall called the Barranco Wall. So we slept underneath it that night, and it looked essentially like I don't know,
cliff face,
200 or 300 meters of cliff face that then we tackled that morning. And again, in all the photographs online, all the research you do, it doesn't actually disclose what it's like. No. It's like a myth that's almost like they don't tell you how bad it is. But
you have to see it yourselves.
Climbing that and then like almost getting to the top of that as the sun came out that morning, it's a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, that's good.
Well done.
But ultimately, that seeing the inside of that crater rim was something special, because again, lots of the photographs online and don't really show much of it. So being on the edge of that crater and looking in was magical.
Superb. So now you're both back in the UK. What's your next adventures? You planning anything new, or?
I've got, and I think Rich is going to join me on one of them. I'm a bit of a keen walk on the Yorkshire Three Peaks. I like to do that at least twice a year just to keep myself fit. So that's not for charity. That's just something to keep us going, really. You're possibly looking at something maybe later in the year.
Yes, I'm hoping to do maybe Everest Base Camp. Maybe October or November, and that's my training step to maybe do a South Pole trek in next January. So
God,
I just need to work. I just seen the questionnaire that I need to complete about my fitness, and I just need to work out whether I'm fit enough, whether I can ski enough to be able to do that. So that's my dream. But I might not be able to pass the fitness test yet.
Wow. South Pole, my God. Okay. On that note, on behalf of everyone, thanks very much for all the money you raised. On behalf of everyone from the ITP Support Association, thank you. You know, the money will help a hell of a lot of people. and you know, you keep up the good work, and like you two guys are amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
You're actually on the cover again of our quarterly
Really?
magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Again, 2 editions running, you've made it. So you've done well.
That sounds all right.
Thanks very much, chaps. Thank you. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thanks for doing this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Cheers.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.